Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Have something a little fishy, a little breaking news, and then something going on in the 2024 recruiting trail. And it does sound like Coach Prime is at it again. So, news breaking that Jason Robinson Jr., a four-star wide receiver from the state of California, has backed off his commitment from USC after being committed for over 2 years to the program. And again, we're going to talk about a little bit about the player, a little bit about what's going on with this program. But before we do, I just want to say thank you to you guys, especially the Colorado fans, the fans who are interested as much as we are in this Coach Prime phenomenon. It is one of the cooler stories to talk about in college football as we get into the 2023 season. The support you guys have shown, the comments you guys have had truly means a lot. So again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Dill, I'm going to kick it off to you. And I want to just drop this picture in before we start. Not much has changed from when he committed to when he's decommitting. Nope. There's one picture, though. He took a visit to Colorado on February 1st. Picture with Coach Prime and everything, Dill. What do you think is up?
I mean, I think if you've been watching, I've been saying if I'm these schools in California and I'm really any of these big-time recruiters out west, Oregon, Washington, both UCLA and USC, I'm kind of concerned because, frankly, if you look at what Colorado had when Colorado was rolling in the early 90s, they killed it recruiting that Los Angeles area, the rest of the Southern California in that state. I mean, you think about guys like Eric Bieniemy, Rashawn Salam, a guy out of San Diego, Darian Hagan, obviously. Those are three great players who made that Colorado team great. And they're all Southern California guys. So you look at what Lincoln's faced with now. He said we need to lock down that area of the state. There cannot be guys going to Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. And now he's got to be very concerned that guys can end up at Colorado, a school that now with Coach Prime is obviously very exciting, but also has historic roots in that area.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that USC, when USC, you noted it, when USC is good, they're recruiting that state. That state of California is one of the best states in terms of high school talent coming out of football.
Especially Southern California.
And if Coach Prime can start getting, and that's one of the things that we've kind of noted with Coach Prime. You look at the junior day, if you guys want to go check out that, posted a couple weeks ago, talking about the prospects that they had coming in from that 2024 and 2025 class. A lot of kids from California, Mater Dei, St. John Bosco, the elite kids in California coming out to check out what Coach Prime has going on in Boulder, Colorado. And if Coach Prime can start getting some more inroads from that state, that makes his recruiting all the more dangerous when you consider he has already got strong roots in the state of Florida as well.
Yeah, and again, what you talk about, where he comes from is that he is a kind of an SEC coach in a sense. That feels like, I mean, he played for a long time in Atlanta. He lived in Texas, coached at Jackson, Mississippi, Jackson State. Sorry, but like, so he's obviously made his connections in that area. I played at Florida State, not to mention. So now, I mean, again, you look, maybe you wouldn't have thought he could recruit that Colorado or California area as well. But again, we just talk about guys like, you think of the legends from California, what high school kids are looking up to. A fair amount of those guys came through that Colorado program earlier in their career. Those guys, Eric Bieniemy, again, who we mentioned, Rashawn Salam, great players. They're all Colorado guys. So again, and if I'm just so concerned. I think if I'm USC, UCLA, because again, you just can't let guys out of that area if you're going to be good there. And again, it looks like Coach Prime's going to be a force recruiting that part of the state.
And you saw it with the junior day. And the most impressive thing Coach Prime has done in like the matter of 2 months has just gotten guys taking official visits and taking interest in Colorado. Like, you take a look at the guys they had not only on their junior day, but the guys who are including Colorado in their list of the top fives, in their list of the top five, in top fives, top tens. Similar to Jackson State, that's almost like how you start to turn recruiting. Some of these elite guys, oh, you're considering going to Colorado. Let me go take an official visit. Go check out what Coach Prime is doing. And there's not a single 17-year-old kid who plays football at a high level in the high school ranks that doesn't want to go take an official visit, take a picture with Coach Prime. He's the coolest dude in college football, and you look at the prospects that are considering Colorado. I mean, you have a guy like Ryan Wingo from St. Louis, Missouri, top 15 or top 25 prospect in the country, a laundry list of top 100 dudes that are considering Colorado, who have taken visits to Colorado, and it's only been 2 months for Coach Prime. Imagine what this looks like in a couple months or 12 months from now, the amount of talent that's just considering going to Colorado. The recruiting in Boulder is just absolutely
especially if they get it rolling at all on the field and they start showing like guys go to the draft. If Travis Hunter, Shedeur, some of these early guys who are going to be the building blocks of what they're doing can go be All-Americans, go be all Pac-12, go show that they're those guys and they're developing at Colorado. Like, I mean, he's doing it now with, again, Colorado was very much in the dumps. There's not the track record of Georgia, Alabama, those big time schools that are currently recruiting the best. And that's because you go to Georgia, Bama, those type of schools, you're going pro. Right now, that track record doesn't exist necessarily at Colorado, but if they can get it rolling on the field, man, like he's already doing a really good job recruiting without that.
That's something worth talking about. That's something worth talking about is like when we talked about Coach Prime took the job at Colorado and we said like, okay, like what is the potential for Coach Prime at Colorado? And we always said the sky's the limit. Like what he did at Jackson State was tremendously impressive. Doing it at a Power 5 program like Colorado is different, but what he did at Jackson State was so good. He can do the same thing at Colorado. And talking about year one expectations, it's something we've talked about a lot. It's one thing to, okay, it's nice that he's a big name at this program. You got to start winning football games for these 4- and 5-star prospects to even more consider joining this program. And like year one expectations is something that I think is massively important. And we started off with saying, okay, they went 1-11 last year, had a horrible roster. It was very rarely were they competitive in games. What is the realistic year one expectations? And we started out with, okay, maybe 3-9. And not now, Dill. It's like 6-6 almost seems conservative.
I think like 500 is kind of, it almost feels like
conservative.
I'd be a little surprised if they went much lower. And frankly, the reason I say that is, they have a quarterback who at least you think has the potential to be really good there. In that, you saw that with USC. If you can get your guy at quarterback, you can cover up a lot of holes. Last year, the quarterback play at Colorado wasn't even in the ballpark of what you need to win games at a high level. And with Shedeur, a guy who lit it up at Jackson State and obviously taking a bit of a step up in competition, but a guy at least you think has the potential. I mean, you had when he was coming out of high school, a fair amount of big schools wanted him and were recruiting him. Now he's got a shot to show it. And again, I think Colorado will go as he goes at this point because the depth and talent isn't quite there yet. Of course, he needs his time. But if Shedeur can light it up and maybe Travis Hunter can make some plays on offense, they're at least going to have a shot to be competitive in these games because, again, the quarterbacks are so important at college, and especially if you have a dynamic one who can make plays.
And this is a very, very competitive Pac-12 schedule that they're playing, and they're not getting any favors. Like you take a look out of conference, they're playing TCU, they're playing Nebraska, Oregon, USC, UCLA, Oregon State, like Utah. There's a lot of very difficult games. And if this program goes 6-6 and you start seeing some positivity in some of these young kids in the 2025 and even 2024 class, see the program being more competitive, going in the right direction, they want to be a part of this change. And I don't think it's crazy in 3 or 4 years to talk about Colorado as a college football playoff team. And so if you want to be part of that, you want to see some production on the field. And that's why we talk about year one is massive for Coach Prime. And that's why he's hammering the transfer portal so much, because this team needs so much talent on the depth chart. But he's done it. He executed perfectly. And then he's probably going to add a couple more guys after spring ball wraps up. This is an extremely exciting time to be a Colorado fan. Jason Robinson Jr. decommits from USC. You're definitely thinking he's going to be taking a look at that program out in Boulder.
What has changed? Nothing
besides Coach Prime taking that job in Colorado. And again, we appreciate the support. Wanted to keep it short, but I mean, anytime you get a chance to talk about what Coach Fromm is doing for this Colorado program, you were going to talk about it. It's fun to talk about. We appreciate the support you guys have shown again. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.